Justin, welcome back to Colonial. If we can get some thoughts on being here this week.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I really like this golf course. It definitely is one of those events. I think a lot of people would play if it fit the schedule more. And given the beginning of my year, what it looked like, and starting when I did, with the potential of adding other events, and this one was definitely one that I had circled that I really wanted to add and play, and worked out nicely. So I'm, I haven't seen it since the changes. So obviously it's a lot softer and a little bit more wet than the last couple of years. But yeah, happy to be here, and it's it's a fun course, and seems like it's always had a great tournament.
You made your first start at Colonial in 2020. What a year that was. You finished tied for 10th. Any recollections of that when we started back?
For sure. I think at that point, everybody just was like, let's just play tournaments. And with how the season and everything went that year, it was definitely an event. A lot of people came and played, and it was, to me, this is one of those events that's been on tour for so long, and the history of the course and the tournament, that I've watched it on TV for so long that I kind of knew some of the nuances and knew of it before I got here. But then when I really played it, I was like, man, this is a great golf course, and I really would love to play here more often. So yeah, glad to be back.
And then you closed with a 65 at the PGA Championship, finished T4. What a Sunday that was for you. Talk a little bit about that, and then also what you've done the past week in preparations and relaxing, basically, probably.
Yeah, probably wasn't quite as much relaxing as maybe could have gone for, but yeah, it was obviously a great Sunday at the PGA. Was happy to give myself a chance and have a great round. It was weird to because it didn't necessarily feel like I was quote unquote in contention, but I very much was. I think it's very different of finishing when I did versus finishing when the leaders were finishing. It's quite a different feel, but to go out there and play the round I did when I knew I needed to was great. And yeah, last week just was really a couple of days off and then back to the grind.
Going back to last November after the surgery, do you consider yourself a patient person? And if so, was that patience tested at all during the process?
Probably depends what in what sense. I don't know. That's a good question. If I consider myself patient, overall, I would say I'm fairly patient. I think sometimes more than others, but I had to be very, very patient after the surgery and especially the rehab. My surgery was so minor compared to what, an ACL, a labrum, some Achilles, the stuff that's you're out for, 6, 9 months, 12, whatever. It's kind of like a pretty specific timeline, and so long before you can do anything. And so mine, compared to that, I can't imagine, because I was going pretty stir crazy, and it's just you do so much every single day to wake up the next day to feel the exact same. Like, you do that for a pretty what I felt like was a long time. So that sucks, to be perfectly honest. So the patience had to be very, very high, and you try to the best you can to look to like now, that all the stuff that I'm doing is going to pay off, but it sure doesn't feel like that when you're going through it.
So this is your first time here since the renovation. Mm-hmm. You've been out the Pro-Am today. Do you have any thoughts on changes that you're noticing?
Yeah, it's definitely it's different. It feel like it plays very similar in terms of clubs you're hitting off tees, the shape of the overall maybe bones of the hole. And I think there's just some tweaking. Obviously, you have some holes like 8 or 16, 13 that are very, very different. But for the most part, it is very similar to what it was. I think in terms of, do I like it better now or before? I think there's some kind of combination of it. I think it's, the greens are definitely lower. You have the ability to run it up on the green, which I didn't feel like you had before. But I like what, some of the greens feel a little smaller, and the contours are very subtle. So, I like it, at least what I've seen, but it's also been very, very soft. And I could see when it gets firm how difficult it could play.